Many thanks for staying with us on the show, TMI Monday. We'll go straight to our major talking point on our package for today is to look at the build-up to the 2023 election. I mean, as is always the case, the penultimate year leading to an election is always a year filled with so much of activities, and that's exactly what is going on, particularly as the political parties prepare for their primaries, which is expected to take place between now and the 3rd of June, in line with the Electoral Act, in line with INEC's timetable, even though there are some concerns if that will materialize, particularly for the two major political parties, against the background of some undercurrents that are playing out. But we'll talk about that as we get along. Recently, at the first quarter Best Performing Commands Award, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, led by the erudite Buba Marwa, who is an army chief, retired though, but certainly not tired, wrote to the ruling party, the APC, recommending a drug screening test for all aspirants that are on the platform. He did also promise that he would do a similar letter to the People's Democratic Party to include, as part of their screening process, the drug test for their aspirants. How germane is this recommendation is the focus of the discussion in the next couple of minutes. Let me thank our panelists here, the former chairman of the Southwest Local Government Council. I'd like to thank very especially Comrade Destiny in Abulele. Thank you, Comrade, for joining us.
Yeah, my pleasure to be here. Good morning, viewers.
We also have with us in the studio a legal practitioner, politician, public affairs commentator, Barrister Uyi Idiali. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me on your show, and good morning, viewers.
We also have joining us former senior special assistant to the state government, civil society activist, political activist, Comrade Collins Amadi Osagai. Thank you for joining us on the program.
Good morning.
Okay.
Good morning, viewers.
Okay, a whole lot to talk about, I mean, on this subject of discussion this beautiful Monday morning. But let's start from the fundamentals. Constitutionally, this is not part of the requirements for those aspiring for elective position. But NDLEA is requesting or proposing to political parties to include drug tests for the aspirants as part of the screening process. How germane is this request, Barrister Oye?
Well, looking at the proposal in itself, for me, there is nothing wrong in such proposal if it's in tandem with the Constitution and the provisions of the Constitution. The Constitution is the ground norm. It provides the qualification for persons who aspire or seek to occupy public offices in Nigeria. And so, in as much as we appreciate the fact that it is of fundamental importance that people who occupy our various political offices are men and women of sound mind, are people who are not incapacitated by the reason of usage of drugs over time, but everything must be done in line with the provisions of the Constitution. So what I would have loved for him to do is first take that proposal to the National Assembly. Let there be a robust discussion on the floor of the National Assembly, both houses of the National Assembly, that will eventually culminate in the amendment of the Constitution as it relates to the qualification spelled out for persons to occupy public offices. So without doing that, trying to introduce it through the back door, it will only hit up the polity because persons will contest it in court. And once it is contested, I know, trust our courts, such proposals will be declared unconstitutional, non-void, and of no effect.
All right, Comrade, let's get your perspectives on this. Against the background that a state like Kano is already doing a similar thing by having political appointees screened for drugs and all of that. The underlining current to this is that Marwa is of the opinion that, I mean, it doesn't make sense that people that are elected into offices must be stable, should be stable at least, to be able to do the business for which they are elected for. I'd like to get a perspective.
Yeah, let me first of all appreciate you, Sandy Duke, for this timely discourse. To be very frank, I think the proposal is a welcome development. But if you try to look at it passionately, and just as rightly said by Barrister Oyi, definitely the people must contest in the court of law. You see, yes, the initiative is laudable. Knowing what is happening in our society as we speak very just now. I think a few months back or a year back, this kind of a thing, the time was before the public discourse, trying to say that everybody, even before marriage, that we must subject a couple to a drug test at a time because of this domestic violence. See wives killing their husbands, husbands killing their wives. For us, as a nation, it is a welcome development. But if you look at it, we must pass through the right channel in making sure that it not become the part and parcel or requirements before being elected. You see, there's no shortcut. That's another thing. Let me appreciate Buba Marwa again. He must, engage the legislators to make sure that this thing not become part of the electoral law. That's the only way to scale through. But the way it is now, be rest assured that it will not see the light of the day.
All right. Comrade, the concern has always been that politicians say one thing and do exactly the direct opposite. Promises are made. These promises are never kept. And as I say, when you do one thing repeatedly and you expect a different result, it's tantamount to madness. And when you have this kind of scenario playing out amongst some of our politicians, doesn't that call for serious concern as it relates to the state of their mental health?
Thank you very much, my very distinguished brother, Sam Duke. Yes, they say charity begins from home. I expected, for example, relating it to Buba Marwa, would have started with drug tests with his immediate aides, those NDL officials. We have over the time seen the way most of them operate when they are on official assignments. We've seen many videos. We've seen a lot of rascalities. They are same all government officials. Now, it's quite unfortunate that sometimes when our politicians, just as you have said, they will say, let's do it like this. They themselves will be doing it the other way. Because there may be some persons they have targeted. Either the persons sometimes take some small ones, they feel it to be an opportunity to screen the person away. It is now, just now, you want to initiate such a policy. It can't work. Let's stop deceiving ourselves. At the time the Electoral Act or the Constitution was being amended, where was the NDL officials? There were a lot of town hall meetings, proposal was made to different government agencies on areas they feel amendment should come. None of those things were said. Now, why did you not also write to all parties at the same time and say it as a general circular? Why are you not running to a party where they are purchasing presidential fund for 100 million? Does that also mean the NDLA wants something? Because it's also in this country we have seen over the time when COVID were on. Some people were paying and they were giving COVID certificate. And when they move a little step ahead to another quarter, they have been said to have COVID. Till Nigeria was almost banned from operating COVID tests. So all of these are shenanigans. People like me don't see it as a way forward. Okay. Even if you are taking drugs or assume to be taking drugs, I don't think that will stop performance. Are you telling me what kind of drugs are you even trying to check in? Is it cocaine? Is it the normal weed? Is it paracetamol? Is it chloroquine? Is it those that they are because they are all drugs?
Collins, but you and I know the drugs he's talking about. It's certainly not paracetamol. It's not
but
like
they
that.
must also make it very clear. Now they are mental health. How many Nigerians are mentally stable today? With the kind of systems we have had, from local government councils to to the presidency,
Yeah.
to the ordinary
So if
citizens.
Nigerians are unstable, don't you think that's the more reason why a proposal of this nature will be seen to be germane, to address that, particularly for those who will occupy appointive or elective positions?
Yes, that is why I've said
Yes.
on one hand it's good. On the other hand, at what time is it coming?
Okay.
And why writing to one political party first? Is it that that political party is more important than the other? This is somebody that is supposed to be seen to be very free and fair.
All right, let me pause you there, Collins.
Let me quickly, let me quickly,
make an addition, yeah.
No, not an addition.
Okay.
To correct some impression as put forward by colleagues. You see, oftentimes we criticize initiatives. See, we must learn to appreciate a laudable initiative. The initiative of Buba Marwa is laudable. The issue of saying that it's geared towards to target some persons, I think it's high time we jettison that. If we want to get out of this quagmire, we should jettison that. Okay. Whatever we say that is beautiful, let us all of us embrace it.
This is my opinion. That was you also had your opinion.
No.
No, you enlightened your own viewers.
All right.
I also enlightened my own viewers.
Just calm down.
Context.
Just calm down.
Yes.
Destiny, calm down. Let me get you in here. And the political parties have the discretion to either accept this proposal or not, whether the Constitution provides for it or not. He's asking that make it a possibility, make it part of your screening criteria for your aspirants. Is there anything wrong with that? Can the political party at their discretion decide to adopt this as a policy, as part of the screening initiative or the criteria for screening, just the same way they discretionally, for example, the APC fixed 100 million naira to buy presidential form, the PDP discretionally fixed 50 million naira to buy presidential form. It didn't require the Constitution for them to do that. This is an intra-party matter. Couldn't the parties consider this proposal along these lines?
Well, like I earlier said, Nigeria is a country governed by law, and the Constitution is the ground norm from which every other law derives its validity. So any law or any proposal, no matter how beautiful it is, once it is inconsistent with the provisions of the Constitution and it is challenged in a competent court of jurisdiction, it will be set aside.
Now, by so you
what I'm trying to say is
the point I'm making is
I
this.
understand what you are
The
saying.
100 million naira is not a law.
No, listen.
It's not a law.
Let's look at it this way. Let's look at it this way. Political parties are creations of the people. What this means is that you subscribe to becoming a member of a political party. And you can also decide not to be a member of that political party. Okay?
Yeah.
So that is different from what we are saying now. Because I'm a member of the APC, All Progressives Congress.
Okay.
If I perceive that, okay, what has been fixed as cost of nomination form is not what I can afford, nothing bars me from going to another political party. It's a different scenario. But in this particular instance, we are talking of, surreptitiously introducing an element that is at variance with the qualifications as prescribed by the Constitution in respect of people who...
The Constitution prescribed 100 million naira as the price for nomination form. That's at the discretion of the party.
Let's look at it.
Yes.
The Constitution...
The electoral has the power.
Look at it. The Constitution does not provide for sales of form. But it is stated and provided in the Constitution and even the Electoral Act that a candidate must be sponsored by a political party. So, for you to be sponsored by that political party, it means that first, you must obtain the form of that political party. Okay? Now, if the party decides to say, okay, every aspirant must be subjected to drug test, and a person is disqualified on the ground that he has been found to have abused drugs over time, based on the results of the medical test, that person has the right to contest that in the court of competent jurisdiction. And once it does that, what the court will be looking at is this particular drug test, no matter how beautiful it is it within the, is it among the, among those set out qualifications that an aspirant must meet up with to be eligible to contest for an office? Is it part of the constitutional provisions? Once it is found not to be so, no matter how laudable that idea is, it is going to be declared unconstitutional.
Okay.
So we must be able to look at issues dispassionately. We must be able to look at, yes, sales of nomination form is within the competence of the political parties to so do.
Okay.
They have the latitude, to prescribe whatever they want, the amounts they want to sell their forms. Okay. If you are not comfortable with it, there are other political parties. You can go elsewhere.
All right, try your luck. If you are not comfortable with the political party that has made screening for drug test as part of the criteria, can't you go to another party that doesn't have that as a criteria? Let me get your take on this.
Actually, Duke,
yes.
You can see when my friend here was trying to, when he was depositing, I was just smiling. You see, there's often, I think I've said it here over time, that in Nigeria, crime or error is a definition of convenience. You see, we look at it the way it's suiting us and we run with it. In a developed or in a senior client, they are laid down, laws. That is why I love when the former U.S. president said that we need strong institutions rather than strong men. Our greatest undoing is for us to jettison strong institutions. So whoever comes aboard want to be a strong man. Once he exits, go back to God knows how. You see, I've listened to my friend that good and fine that parties can set up whatever. You just look at it, 100 million. When the present president, the first time he bought his nomination for, how much was it? And today it's 100 million. And nobody is saying that is bad. And today we have about over 25 or thereabout, aspirants. That's about over 2 billion. See, you want to say is, see, over time in this country, when we are trying to get it right, when we are trying to set the laws or rules that will get it, see, we attack it. Just as my friend said just now, he says it's targeted towards some persons. That there are some persons according to our animal farm. So some animal are more than, yeah. You see, we must all go out. If we want to get out of this quagmire, see, any society that recompenses defective deportment, fabricating moral parade that will guzzle that society. That's exactly where we are today. What are we doing? All hands must be. See, let us not play politics.
So are you saying that the political parties can
it is a welcome, it is a laudable initiative that everybody must embrace.
Yes. Listen.
No one has said it's
I'm coming. Look at it this way. I have not said that proposal is not a laudable one. It's very good. The mental health of anybody that seeks public office is of concern to everybody, even the electorates. Yeah. Sure. The electorates want to know. Okay? But if you must do it, you must do it in such a manner that does not offend the law, that does not offend
the question that I'm asking.
So that's exactly the question I'm asking. Let me cap up with my argument.
Yeah.
You see, that of payments of buying of nomination form, what to pay to buy nomination form, it is within the exclusive competence of the various political parties. The parties on their own can even decide to give it free. Sure. And I think a time may eventually come that nomination forms can be given free to aspirants.
Just like APC give it to women.
Like APC is giving it to women. Okay. Listen, as of today, what a woman aspiring for any political office needs to do in APC is to pay for the expression of interest.
That's all.
And that expression of interest is very minimal.
Okay,
you don't pay for the form, you only pay for expression of interest. Yeah. So eventually, we may eventually get to that point that the party will now look at it and say, okay, let us do away with sales of nomination.
Okay, now let me get
freely to everybody that aspires
comrade,
or that wants to aspire.
Collins, I'd like you to talk about the fact that yes, it's not there in the Constitution. I'm sure many of the things, the criteria that have been set by political parties for their screening, they are not in the Constitution. The political parties decided to put up those structures for screening the aspirants. For example, the PDP did screening for their presidential aspirants and edged out 2 for whatever reasons.
It was not the PDP.
Okay, hold on now.
It was the Northern...
It was the PDP. It was the PDP.
It was the PDP.
It was the PDP.
That was different.
Yes.
It's 2 different...
they screened out 2. We don't know the 2. But they set up set up a criteria for that at the discretion of the question I'm asking. If Buba Marwa, General Buba Marwa retired, has proposed drugs test for aspirants, can't the political parties adopt this? Must they wait for it to be reflected in the Electoral Act on the Constitution before they take this initiative? After all, there are several other things they've done, and I made mention of the 100 million naira. That is not in the Constitution, even though the Constitution provides for the political parties to do whatever they want to do with how they want to get their candidates. Can the political parties do this?
To a very large extent, they can. Also depend on who they are dealing with.
Okay.
Now, we have always prayed that we don't have gullible citizens and gullible aspirants. What am I trying to say in the sense that you must do an overview and also know the ambit in which those screening committee members can also operate under the same party constitution. Outside the Nigerian Constitution and the Electoral Act, every party have their own constitution. If in your constitution, the party do not have what it takes to go that way, they can't. Because any action that you take that is not within the ambit of that your own constitution, that you generate your power from, which is the Electoral Act, and the Electoral Act which also galvanizes strength from the Nigerian Constitution, which supersede every other norms, then there will be problem. But if on an agreement based, like, okay, maybe at the level of purchasing form, you first put out your new guideline, then there must be a new guideline. And that guideline, for example, must first be discussed within the convention or the NEC meeting or what have you.
Okay.
It would have been embraced by the entire party, agreed upon, not at the time that parties are already selling form, conditions are already given.
Okay.
Now, for example, we say our athletes to go for relays or what have you. They know that when they get to the Olympic Center, they are likely to face another drug test, depending on how long the drugs they're taking can work in their body. Some will take small and believe it will not reflect, but before the test begin, it will kind of subside. Okay. But to their greatest shock, you still see that even after many have run and won medals have been withdrawn.
Yeah.
Because there are different ways they can be tested.
Yeah.
And some may take longer. The originals will always take longer. So just to say that they can, but even at that, they are being held by constitution. Okay. Including their own party constitution. I don't have any problem with that, which I have said over the time. But this thing would have come earlier, so it will help party to put up guidelines, okay, to put up policies that will not make the party itself even go and lose their own victory, because it's party that wins an election. And the court can even say, for this action that you took, you never conducted the primary. So be it. Whoever took second in the other party should come and carry it.
Let me even buttress your points, you know, from this angle. You've just said that the PDP disqualified 2 persons.
Yes.
The question you may ask, why is this kept a secret? Why is it that the names of those persons have still not been published? Yeah. As we speak.
Is at the discretion of the party?
No, listen to me. listen. Till now, the decision of the PDP has not been communicated to those persons who were screened out or who were disqualified. Till now, as we speak here, the reasons why they were disqualified have still not yet been disclosed. So whatever we are doing here, we are only just a kind of guessing. Oh, this person may have been disqualified, the other person may have been disqualified. Because the party, PDP, they are being careful. Because they know that whatever they do, it must be in accordance with the provisions of the Constitution. Okay. If it is not so, then the person aggrieved by that decision will challenge it in a court of competent jurisdiction. So that is the way it is. So because
let me observe you here.
So you look at it from this perspective. No party, as it stands today, can decide to conduct drug tests. No, because people with the aspirants will question the constitutionality of sin. Okay? Yes, it's a laudable proposal by Boba Marwa, a man I respect so much. But what I'm saying is that if we must do anything, then we must learn to lay proper foundation, and such things must be done in accordance with the provisions of the Constitution.
Okay, Destin, let's you want to say something?
Yeah, let me quickly. You see, Barrister Uyi, you see, those that have been disqualified, they'll be communicated to. That is it. See, just as you rightly said, it is the discretion of the party, and the party is trying to be very careful. So it is the consumption of the party
disqualify a candidate without making it public.
Why is the hold on now? I'm on my feet now.
Let's try and make this calm down. Just calm down. You have the floor. You have the floor, yeah.
Let us not go back there. You see, that decision that time was very rash.
No, we are not on that subject now. Let's stay on course, yeah.
It is within the confines of the law. They have been communicated to, and they know why they've been disqualified.
You cannot say, sir.
I'm a member of that party. As we speak, I'm a member of that
party. Can you be calm so that we can have a meaningful conversation? Yes, just calm down. Yeah.
Just as you rightly said, when we see a laudable initiative, there's only stop like as we speak very just now, that a man has initiated an initiative. All Nigerians need to embrace it and command the various parties to adopt that initiative. Because over time, even the killings in left, right, center, some of us have even, subscribed to be drugs. Women, wives, and husbands. So I think the fact where to start from, it is on those who govern us, whether as executive or legislators. It must start from there, up, down. That's how to checkmate all this menace that is ravaging us. You see, for us not to try to politicize it, for me, I differ completely.
Okay. Let's look at it this way. Kano State has already taken a lead with this initiative by ensuring that those who are appointed are subjected to a drugs test. Can't we leverage on this foundation, Collins?
Just as we are still within the same ambit.
I'm asking you a question. Can't we leverage on it?
It's good.
Yes,
it depends,
as a template.
It depends on the people and at what points it's being done. Now, in Kano State, has been propagated, because no of us actually went there. Maybe one or two persons.
You don't need to go there.
I know. Is he from within the governor's ambit or from a political ambit, party ambit?
From the governor's ambit. Governor Ganduje, yes.
Yes.
Then, he made it compulsory.
Yes, he made it compulsory.
Yes.
Within the people he has jurisdiction over.
Yes.
He cannot make it compulsory for the PDP, for example, or for other political parties. Even in the APC, for example, it's only within those who believe he's their master that may obey. Some may not obey. And if you do otherwise, they will go further, just as the barrister have said. I like the way my brother and friend, Destiny, who've been friends for many years, have always propagated this from head. Thank God, I love that statement. He has been a council chairman. They just left. Since they left, for example, the law as amended that governs the whole Nigeria, we're not even talking about sub-law. The major law, the Constitution, says there should be no vacuum in local government administration. And there should be nothing like interim first, and there should be nothing like critical or whatsoever name it should be. No talk about head of service taking over. The governor of Edo State have refused to conduct an election and commissar. And people like him who have patriotism in them cannot call the governor, because I know the governor is very good.
Let me observe you. Let me observe you. No,
just go within the
hold
on, guys. Hold on. You see, we'll try as much as possible to stay on course within the ambit of the discussion.
Okay, I was taking reference.
No. You don't need to make that reference, because it's not tangential to the subject of our discussion.
No, besides,
just a moment.
It is within the state legislation.
Just hold on, comrade.
That's what I want to draw out here.
I want to look at 2023 election and the calls for drugs test for aspirants. That's the focus.
Okay.
And in that regards, I asked the question that Kano State government under Abdullahi Ganduje has already deployed this policy, ensuring that anyone that is to be appointed must go for a drugs test.
Yes.
Isn't that the model that we should follow? You've already made your point in
It's
that
a good
regard.
model,
Yes.
but it's discretional.
Yes.
Some people may suit with it, some may not suit with it.
Yeah, but
And
if you want to
those
come
who-
into his government as an appointee, you must subscribe to it. That's what it means.
Yes,
That's what it means.
if you know you take drugs,
Yes.
and when they test you for you know to be publicly disgraced, you will quietly not make application.
Just the same way, if a political party had adopted this policy, and you find out that if you go there for screening, now you'll be caught. What do?
You will
just go to another
It's the past.
party.
It's the past.
Let me quickly say this. Let me quickly say this.
Let me-
Yes,
yeah.
you see, I'm happy with Nigerians. You see, whenever we want to get it right, we try to come up with flimsy excuses here and there. Just like if you're an appointee of a government and you are vying for a position, the need for you to resign within a stipulated time.
Yeah.
In some states, it's already taking effect, but in some states,
It's not taking effect.
it's not. That is, you see, whenever we want to get it right, or whenever we see things that is right, we try to bring politics, we try to bring sentiment. That's my fear. That is my worries. You see, whenever we see laudable initiative, that don't stop us from saying, yeah, good, let's implement it now. But no matter who else has got, even if it is me, you see, try to cite example here and there. Just as colleague said, it doesn't hold water.
Let me get
I promise, sir.
yeah, quickly,
I promise, sir.
quickly.
You see, make mention of something. It is a state legislation that preside over the local government's affair. Is aware.
Yeah.
That is it.
Okay,
So for us to draw an
I said a while
analogy,
ago, I don't want
to-
to go on that part, Comrade Destiny. But Mr. Uyedale, quickly anchor the point you wanted to make.
You see, the law is the law,
Absolutely.
no matter how you look at it.
Absolutely.
So when it comes to law, sentiment does not exist.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That is what the positivist school of jurisprudence will tell you. Like I said when we started this discourse, the proposal by Buba Marwa is a very laudable one. I want to see a country where those who superintend over the affairs of the people are people that are drug-free. We don't want, personally, I would never subscribe to having a man that abuses drug as somebody that seeks in a high office superintending over me.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me.
Okay.
But that notwithstanding, no matter how laudable that proposal is, it must be subjected to that process that will make it not run foul of the provisions of the Constitution. That is my argument. Because if it happens that way, no matter how laudable it is, it will be set aside by a court of competence.
All right, let's quickly just scale up a little bit before we call it a wrap on this segment of the program. There's also been talks about political parties screening their candidates or their aspirants to be sure they are not into advance fee fraud, popularly called 419 or Yahoo Yahoo. People have talked about carrying out forensic analysis or screening of aspirants to ensure that those who are seeking elected positions, they are not into advance fee fraud. This is another dimension to this conversation. Destiny, let's get you started on that one quickly. How germane is this? How feasible is this? How possible is this? Because I've heard people saying that,
that's what they do.
Yes.
Let me appreciate you for this yet another timely discourse. In this state, for instance, in my own party, over 162 aspirants for 24 seats. Yes, there has been this huge outcry that, with due respect, that the Yahoo Yahoo boys or guys have invaded the political space. There's no doubt about that. It's a no fact. It's a no fact. But
when you say it's a no fact, what is the evidence backing that no fact?
I'm coming, sir. We know them in our various families, in our various community. You see, our system is a communal lifestyle. That's the way it has always been. There's a saying, see, it is a community that gives birth to a child. That's the way it has been. That's why I'm here today. If I were to be my father or my mother, I won't be here. I will be in the street. Perhaps by now I would have been gone. You see, the issue is this. The issue is this. We must try to situate it the way it is. That how can you identify these persons? How can you screen them out? You see, nobody, like, Collins is here, Uyi is here. And we have one or two persons in our various family, and our various families. We have. If we come here to say that, no, we are only just being economical with the truth. You see, there even some time, I can remember during Mago, I think my NGO was working with at that time. Mago, one of the forums said that even mothers of this Yahoo, they are not forming association. It was as bad as that. You see, we must try to get, and it starts with government. And government must put policies that discourage this kind of a thing. You see, again, if we allow this trend to continue, I bet you by the next election after 2023, I think the likes of Collins, the likes of Uyi, and my humble self will not have the space in the political arena. That is it. So I want to again.
You will see contest.
I want to again. Where is enough for my cover? So I want to again appeal to the various political leaders to look at it dispassionately. You see, what is good and what is bad is bad. We must look for avenue to discourage this kind of a thing. So that, look at it, there are rituals killing as a result. In the early 2000s or late 90s, it has been Yahoo, money doubling and what have you. But today, it's no longer, it's not a ritual killing. You see boy killing the girlfriend killing the and what have you. You see man, see, for me, I don't know, but I want to appeal to the society that we must collectively, police our various community, our families, because there is a family unit, which as I speak very just now, it has decayed. And we must go back to our various family units in getting it right. Not only that. Yeah. Listen, go around the streets with utmost humility. The way you dress up, it's your own personal thing. You see frying of hair, you see mothers frying hair and what have you. There's one guy I listened to, one of these comedians. He said, then you send your children to school to come out with best position. You see them not changing position on top of their classmates. It's as bad as that. And we must go back to the family unit in getting it right.
Okay. All right. Let's get your take on this, Barrister Uyi Ediale. Quickly. You see, on invasion Yahoo as aspirants. I don't know how.
My dear brother. What is responsible for all these is the fact that the society has lost its moral values. A society that celebrates wealth without taking it upon itself to investigate the source of wealth, but continuously glorifies wealth, will always have this kind of situation. Until we go back to the good old days, where men were honored, where men were respected for who they are and not what they possess, we can never salvage this situation. Let me put it very succinctly. If the political parties, the leaders of the various political parties, even the members, they are aware that if a person that engages in internet fraud, or even Yahoo as they say, is feeded by the political party and it stands to be rejected at the pool. Because the party wants to win election, they will not feed that candidate. Yeah. But because we live in a society where anything goes, everything has now been reduced to money. Nobody talks about competence, nobody talks about effectiveness, nobody talks about efficiency. What everybody wants to know is, how much do you have? It's a very sad situation, my brother. Okay. So my appeal this morning is this. Firstly, to the political parties, they must understand the fact that when it comes to election, it is not only the members of the political parties that vote. Absolutely. In fact, the number of the members of the political party is very insignificant when it comes to the total number of persons that participate in elections. Two, our people should rise to the occasion to tell themselves that it is high time we discourage this menace that is threatening our corporate existence as a people. We must appreciate the fact that integrity, reputation, character, ability, competence should be the hallmark of whosoever you are voting to represent you in any political office.
All right, Comrade, quickly. At this point in time, there are feelings that on matters of this nature, it's really at the discretion of the political parties to decide who represents the party. So would you say that the onus is on the political party to checkmate this seeming alleged invasion by Yahoo boys as aspirants?
Anyway, do you know moral value is something ordinarily wouldn't have allowed to leave us. Nigeria as a country today, we've lost our moral values. Like me, for example, I belong to a church where my pastor over the time have kept encouraging me to be firm, to be strong, to hold on, that there will always be a better time. And where you also have other churches, for example, where their pastors will tell them, it was time to make more money. What are you waiting for? So it's, the church is there, home is there. I also come from a home where my immediate family will not match so much pressure on me to change their cars or to do whatsoever or to change the home setting. At that point as a man, I'm a little bit relaxed. But if I over the time I have a pressure that is knocking on my head, before you know what's happening, certainly just as the former council chairman had said, there's no way with our exposure we will not have friends or member of families who are Yahoo, as they are being called. Yes. But even at that, we are guided not to be involved. We are guided not to soil our hands. These days, they have what is called their normal Yahoo. They also have the plus. The plus is where they have to soil their hands with blood. I was talking with somebody on phone on my way coming. The person asked, please, can you help me with some money? I said, but within a few periods, I have assisted you with money. Young woman, you have to be careful so you not run into the hands of Yahoo. He said, bros, I'm also a Yahoo. I said, are you serious? He said, yes, so I'm also a Yahoo. I just laughed. And I said, but I've just said my own, try be guided.
Yeah.
So with your desperation for looking for money, you won't forfeit.
So how do you think political party can address this issue?
Political party cannot address the issue of Yahoo. Because even those people to screen, those who are Yahoo, their children are also Yahoo. Some are land grabbers in different form. So how can a thief call another person a thief? When even some of them belong to a bigger occultic group, which is even worse than the ordinary young boys Yahoo. Some over the time are involved in burying live human being just to get power, just to be in charge.
Yeah, but there's no evidence to back all of this.
Yes, the same way they will also have evidence for the Yahoos. Now let me tell you, we have a lot of Yahoos today who have different companies everywhere. So how long is it going to take you to start investigating where they all started from? How? At that point you will be careful. Because anybody who can go soil his hand in blood to make money can also soil his hand in another blood for you trying to disgrace him or her. So at that point, even political leaders who wants to screen must be guided. If they say you go and remove this person because of that person, you do and wait for them. So in all of this, home, upbringing, our religious centers, our traditional rulers must do more to appeal to our people, to our children, on the need to be morally balanced. For example, I may not be very rich, but I am very certain that tomorrow will be good.
Yeah. Because
over the time, I have gone through the rudiments.
Yeah.
I've worked on myself, and I'm still working on myself. Why am I not sure that one day it will be better?
Okay.
So I think if we encourage our works like that,
yeah,
we'll be better. Let political parties not go and be losing members unnecessarily because they want to screen people on the basis of Yahoo. Because even most of our leaders already even introduce more of Yahoo. By so doing, let me tell you, Yahoo have an associations across the country. We have had governorship candidates or parties that Yahoo contributed money, both local and international, and they gave them during elections. And we also had at the time there were protests by Yahoo that after they have assisted some people, they refuse to recognize them and that they want to protest. Yes.
Okay. All right.
We've heard it. We've seen that.
Yeah.
So a kettle cannot be calling pot black.
Okay. Let me take.
Sonny Duke, let me again appreciate you for this timely discussion, because I can't stop appreciating you. You see, there's this doctrine, Machiavellian doctrine, that the end justifies the means. And the Benin will say, has beclouded our sense of reasoning.
Okay.
That's why we find ourselves in this quagmire. Today, you will see mothers taking their children to go and give it to Yao to help her train. We'll now go and borrow money to buy what they call HP laptop for the child. It's as bad as that. It's not only Yahoo. Go around the GRA. There's no street in GRA where you will not see a flat. You have guests of about 10 occupying. What are they doing? You see, the government again must sit up. You see, to get these things right, landlords must sit up. You see, boys numbering 10 or 6 renting a flat,
1 million.
You know, you see, all right. Renting
as bad as this is, what is the alternatives for these young people we're talking about, whether they are girls or they are boys? I was doing some research last night. I saw that you have about 75,000 PhD holders in Nigeria.
Yes.
Now, of that number, only about 40,000 are fully employed.
Engaged.
About 15,000 underemployed, 12,000 not employed at all. You have about 20,000 Nigerians who are currently on a PhD program.
Yes.
That's just at the PhD level.
Yes.
We can scale it to masters, we scale it to first degrees. What alternatives are there? What alternatives do we have out there for this young guy? Let me get, because I want to call it a wrap now quickly.
The alternative,
yes,
it still boils down to having a government that works for the people. And the people also having it at the back of their mind that hard work pays. We must be able to balance it. You see, people engage in Yahoo. Some of those persons are engaged in all those,
fraudulent
activities. Yeah. It's not because they are too poor. It's not even because they don't have the job to do. It will interest you to note. Go to mechanic workshops. Go to, tailoring centers. Go to all those places where you used to have youth engaging themselves.
They've all disappeared.
They have all disappeared
into thin air.
Into thin air.
Yeah.
You see, a crisis is even going to come very soon.
Yeah.
We may eventually run into a situation where if your car breaks down, you may not even have a person that will fix it for you.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because everybody wants a quick fix. Everybody wants to get money. Everybody wants to make money.
You said conclusively that it's government's failure.
We must have a government that works for the people.
Okay.
In doing that, the government will be able to come out with proposals that will lead to creation of jobs.
Let me get a final word from you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Little I will blame our people.
Yeah.
Over the time, election is also coming. Our people will gladly come out of trust, believing that A, B has failed. Maybe C will be better. And they will still go out there to choose this leader who will promise everyone disappoint. Many will tell you there will be company in every street because they have very private to build companies. But at the end of the toothpick company, you will not even see for only one in the entire place. No talk of the streets they promised. Now, would you blame the electorate at that point? No. Because the only thing is that maybe we'll say God will judge them, which is the common language. But because these people have tried over the time, either to change people with the bad, but it still look as if the new ones are usually worse than the old ones. So at that point, we'll keep trying.
Okay, all right.
One day, God will answer our prayer.
That's only Duke. I think in getting out of this conundrum, is for us to first get ourselves a quality education. I wouldn't want to subscribe to that 75. You see, education is not an end in itself. It's a means towards an end. I was an undergraduate when I set up a company, a construction company, an NGO. You understand me?
So you're doing a construction company.
Yes.
You're also doing NGO.
Yes. You understand that? We must. This is our quest for material things. The immediate. We must endeavor to plan for the future. Okay. I sacrifice a lot for me to be able to get a first degree and a master and a master's degree. So these days, none of our youth want to sacrifice for their tomorrow. It's as bad as that. Just as you rightly said, go around this thing. The bricklayer, we no longer have that. Go to our security, whatever. Go to mechanics. Go to hairdressing. Our people are no longer there. Our younger ones are no longer there. They must find something. I'm coming, sir.
Yeah,
they must do something with their hand.
Yeah.
And lastly, any society that recompenses defective deportment fabricate a moral parade that will guzzle that society.
Absolutely. That's just a beautiful way to cap it up. I want to say big thanks to our panelists, Comrade Collins Amadio Sagai, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having
Comrade
me.
Destiny Nabulele, thank you so much
My
for
pleasure.
coming. Barrister Oyediale, thank you so much for coming. Okay, it's still TMI Monday. We'll take a short break. The rest of the program will be coming up shortly. We've got our friends from Rakai. They'll be here shortly. And then we'll also have more of that talking points on the program. Please don't go. Stay with us.